Vivarium, released in the US in 2020, is a drama mystery suspense directed by Lorcan Finnegan. This story follows Gemma and Tom, played by Imogen Poots and Jesse Eisenberg, as a young couple who wanders inside what looks to be some sort of housing development service to browse and check out the possibilities of owning a new home together.
Yonder is a wonderful development. Both tranquil and practical, it has all you'd need and all you'd want.
But they are soon roped into a house tour and discover that they've been left alone in this empty labyrinth-like neighborhood, where they attempt to leave and notice that the roads lead them back to where they started. So soon after our characters come to terms with their new reality, before they have a chance to kind of process everything, a baby is left at their door with a message that says, "Raise the child and you will be released." And then pretty much the film's true WTF moments begin here. So let's just get into some specifics about the characters here. So Gemma naturally takes on a more nurturing approach with the child, unlike Tom, who seems to display a more go-with-the-flow attitude given their circumstances. But there's something about this kid that they are forced to raise that may be more interesting than them being stuck in this strange neighborhood. And once we begin to learn more about the child, a much larger spectrum of possibilities are presented in the storyline. And honestly, during my first watch with this film, when they were raising the child early on, you aren't really sure what to think. I mean, there's a few things that go through your mind, but you can't really be spot on with a film like this because it's purposely vague and it wants you to sort of feel lost, but also feel like you may know some of what's going on. It kind of leaves you on a weird fence type of border, but it is interesting. One thing that I was very impressed by and enjoyed a lot regarding the cinematography was that I was very invested in the visuals that Lorcan Finnegan brought to life in this movie. You get the feeling that the world feels imitated on purpose to a certain extent, like elements of the neighborhood feel too perfect, which we sort of find out in the film through speculation, but it brings forth several questions that we honestly are left to ponder on even after the movie's conclusion. And also, honestly, I didn't know the definition of vivarium, so I actually had to look it up. And then once I looked it up, a lot of points in the film, especially regarding the cinematography, with the lighting effects and the props, made a lot more sense. But the fact that Finnegan was able to capture that simply based off the visuals in this world was pretty cool. I found myself making a lot of comparisons to The Truman Show with Jim Carrey throughout the film while analyzing the environment. Because if you think back on The Truman Show, they wanted that environment to seem as authentic and realistic as possible with all its imperfections. But with this environment for our characters, things felt too perfect and euphoric, which led me to think deeper about the creators of this environment, who didn't feel a need to go to great lengths to create a realistic world. But that's just something that crossed my mind while watching it. I mean, you guys may feel very differently about that, or may feel like there's not much of a similarity at all. But I just wanted to think about that and put it into perspective about those creators of that environment versus the creators of this environment. For me, this film was once again one of those uncanny, vague films that leaves the viewers in a constant state of speculation. A great deal of the details we get are evident, but not the ones vital enough to establish the threat our characters are faced with. But although we're provided with very little, for me personally, I was satisfied because I left wanting to explore more about this world, like some others I'm sure who have seen the film. With that said, I did have a few issues with the film. I feel like the characters weren't rational enough about their situation. There were moments where I became aggravated with their decisions. I mean, it almost felt like those moments in films we all hate, where the character goes to check out a strange noise in the woods and you find yourself yelling at the screen, annoyed by their ignorance.
Do you like scary movies?
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite?
I don't know.
Think.
Oh, I know. Kazam. You know, the one where Shaq plays a genie?
And of course, this is my own personal bias about what I felt like they should have done, and not so much the personal characteristics of the individuals we're presented with as viewers. But those are my personal thoughts without revealing any actual spoilers. For Vivarium, I'm thinking a 3 out of 5 because although I enjoyed the movie, there were some missed opportunities in my opinion that could have benefited the overall outcome more, and I don't mind the lack of details we're provided as viewers, but I felt like we needed more in this film to establish concrete details about the antagonist. And there you have it. Thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe.
Push the button. Come on, push the button.